Good morning. Happy Thursday to everybody. It's Daryl here. It is coming up on 5 a.m. Thursday here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Uh, I've been up since 2:30, and last night I was up till 11 or 12 last night researching. This is a subject that I get very emotional, very upset about, and I can't talk about it too often. But yesterday I did a video about I was reading reports from the CDC and the World Health Organization about the danger of COVID 19. Well, not the danger of COVID 19, but the situation in the immigrant detention centers, and especially the children's immigrant detention centers, that they are, the reports that they are not allowed soap, they're not given soap, hand cleaner, they have limited access to even water. And the health organization and the CDC were saying that this is just a ripe. All you need is it's like a tinderbox for these for not only for this virus. This we're getting lucky with this virus. Down the line, there will be. It's not a matter of if, but when something much worse will come down the line. And these detention centers are just tinderboxes for this and other viruses or disease to explode in there, with the close proximity and the lack of basic hygiene. And it's not just going to be a problem for the people inside. Obviously, the people working there, it'll just be a hot spot where it could spread to the whole rest of the country. And as I looked more into this, I started from time to time. The thing that gets me so upset is these children in detention. Before Trump supporters start saying anything, I've researched this. I've read books. I don't give me the Obama stuff. All right. A lot of these detention centers were built in the Obama era with the intention of housing families together for not more than 48 hours and then sending them back to Mexico or the southern countries. Obama never had the intention, never separated families from kids, ever. Look it up yourself, research it yourself. I know whenever I bring this up, Trump supporters' response is, well, Obama started it. Obama did it first. The classic Trump supporter whataboutism, their answer for everything. What about this? What about that? Everybody does it. Anyway, so today, this morning, last night, I'm trying to find out right now how many children are in detention. And I had to put this stuff down several times. It's been 2 years now. Over 2 years, these kids are in detention. What is the plan? The numbers, the lowest number as of November of 2019 was 4,000 children in detention in the United States. Up to, it was like 18,000 or more. I can't even get an accurate number. And I've looked everywhere. I've checked everywhere, and I can't even get an accurate number, but there's a large amount. Now we go on to private prisons. And these people are almost all, there's a private prison owner called Core Civic. And there's several other ones. And of course, they are all Trump supporters. This has become an industry, housing these people. My question here is what's the long range plan? Why are these illegal immigrants still here? Back in the Obama administration, they were sent back to the country of their origin, repatriated. I don't have a problem with that. If they're seeking asylum, I can understand that. If you go through the paperwork and everything, if they're fearing for their lives, running from conditions in their own country, I can understand that. You have to sort out the situation by situation. So I started looking into these private prisons, and at least 80% of these detention centers are privately owned, for profit prisons. They're making money off housing people. The numbers I got in California, I think Arizona, were about $145 per person per day that we are paying to house all these illegal immigrants. Now, if you count everything, the kids, not the kids and the adults, I got numbers as high as 800,000 people being detained in the United States right now. Times 144 per person per day. It's a huge industry. And of course, these people all support Donald Trump. My question here is, we need to expedite the system. They need to either be repatriated and sent back to their country, or at least be allowed work visas where they can earn their keep. Why not? Why not let them work on a limited basis, still with a path to citizenship? This way, that's the reason they came here, was to work. Let them work. In this situation right now, they're just sitting in these boxes, in these detention centers, as like merchandise for these prison owners. And these prison owners are getting paid for each one of these people just sitting there in these detention boxes. Why not check them out on one by one basis, basic health, basic criminal record, and then let them go to work. Let them go to work. Let them build houses. Let them do what they came here to do. Or if they choose, send them back to their country of origin. Repatriate them. And also, we need to get test kits. We need to get these prison centers. They cut corners. It's a business. They're not known for their health care or they don't even give people soap or shampoo or combs or anything. Like I said, these places are just ripe for disease and virus, and it's not going to affect just them. As I look into it too, I see Mexico has far less cases of the coronavirus than the United States, because then you get the Trump supporters again saying, we got to keep these infected people out. And honestly, right now, Mexico is the country that should be worrying about us spreading the infection to them and building a wall to keep us out of there. Because there's more, a bigger, faster spreading infection in the United States today than there is in Mexico. And I've been so busy checking these numbers and getting into this. I get so upset when I read this stuff. I haven't checked the numbers for COVID today. Yesterday was at 1,010 suspected cases with 30 deaths. Off the top of my head, if things are going as they have been, I'm going to guess there's 14 to 1,500 today. That's a total guess. I haven't looked yet. Let's see how close I guess. All right, I want to talk about one other thing. My next door neighbor, well, a couple houses down, is disabled. And he got a note here from social services here in Connecticut. But it's Trump's plan to kick people off of the SNAP program, to take away their food benefits. This man has diabetes. He's partially paralyzed. He's severely disabled in his 60s. So Trump's bragging about, I don't know how he put it, lifting people back to work. But this is what he's doing right here. It's just getting a letter saying, you know what, in April, next month, we're cutting off your benefits. Okay, this is called, the Trump administration calls people ABWADs, able-bodied adult without dependents. Okay, I'll be honest. As I look this over, there's exemptions, and I agree with a lot of this. The exemptions are age 50 or older, under 18, physically or mentally unfit for unemployment, pregnant, people on workman's comp, and when I looked this over, I was trying to figure out which people will lose their food benefits. And it's going to be able-bodied people that don't work. And then I started thinking about it, and a lot of these, I was researching Kentucky a lot in the last couple days, and a lot of Kentuckians are under the poverty level and are, don't get me wrong, I'm not picking on Kentucky. It's just happened to be a state that I came across that I started researching. And 88% of this one town is Trump supporters, and a good portion of them are these people that are going to get kicked off the food card, the SNAP benefits. And again, as I made this video about people voting against their own best interest, I'm wondering, of course, if they're still going to vote for Trump, even when he takes away the $150 food benefit they have for the month. Are they still going to vote for him? It wouldn't surprise me at all. But okay, so I look at this, and we're cutting off. I mean, I can understand if somebody's able-bodied, and the exemptions are fair. People over 50, people are disabled, mentally or physically disabled, pregnant, and it's fair. But it's the whole thing here of where Trump is taking the money from. Just these small bits of money from poor people buying food. Meanwhile, our money is subsidizing these warehouses. $145 per day to keep my immigrant children in boxes in warehouses. So Trump has no problem because his base loves the fact that these immigrants are being boxed and put in prisons. His wealthy donors are making money left and right off our $145 per person a day tax money going to house these people. So my point here is, you're taking $145 away from somebody who is unemployed or is working a job at, say, McDonald's, or not picking on McDonald's or anything, but is not making enough to pay the rent. Is working a good job, working hard, not making enough to pay the rent, not making enough to make ends meet, not earning a living wage in this great country of ours. And they're getting maybe $145, let's say, to buy food because they can't afford everything. And Trump's idea is to take away money from these people, these Americans that are working hard, working somewhat, have run into conditions that weren't of their choosing. Granted, I don't disagree with all this. Somebody sitting in their house selling quarter pounds of weed all day and collecting this food benefit. No, that's wrong, man. There's a lot of stuff I agree with, but it's the whole idea here of the Trump administration supporting these for-profit prisons with no plan. And the thing that gets me the maddest is there's no plan for the future. Where are these kids going? It's been 2 years. These kids have been housed in these detention centers for 2 years. Another thing, I was reading up on from the American Medical Journals, what happens to kids of these ages when they are separated and forced into these conditions away from their parents. And these kids are going to be severely traumatized. They're going to have a hard time as adults. We've damaged these kids, thousands of kids. And what's the long-range plan? Why are these children, after 2 years, still sitting in these boxes? Well, Trump's donors, the owners of these private prisons, are just getting rich off our tax money paying for this every day. This is one of the hot button, as you can see, I get more and more angry as I talk about this. And then the way the Trump administration spins it, they put a fear spin on it. That, we got to stop the Mexicans and the gangs and the drugs from coming up here. Got to stop the drugs. Look, like I said, I was an addict. I dealt drugs. And The majority of drugs coming to this country are not somebody running with a backpack through the desert. No, trust me. So they spin this fear. The Trump base loves it, buys it up. Yeah, borders, keep the illegal immigrants out. And the Trump administration is spinning that. Meanwhile, Trump associates, Trump donors, contributors are getting filthy rich off our tax money, housing hundreds of thousands of these immigrants just forever with no plan in sight. These kids are just merchandise sitting on shelves that these prison owners are collecting money for on a daily basis, our tax money. Yeah, I'm very angry about this. What's the long-range plan? Why are these kids still just sitting in these boxes, in these detention centers? Why are we paying for it every day? What is the long-range plan? Where are their parents? How are you going to reunite these kids with their parents? This has to stop. Trump is a war criminal. All right. That's all I have to say right now. You guys have a good Thursday.